A snuff film, by definition, is a movie or film loop produced for profit. It contains an on-screen murder, and that's usually as far as it goes.
Well, snuff film would be where an individual is videotaping, filming someone, and eventually kill them. They would be torturing them, doing bizarre sexual acts, and just mainly controlling this person. And then when everything is finalized, they actually kill the person right on film.
Jason Burke, who works for the London Observer, very well-known publication, wrote an article in October of 2000. He had an exclusive from a government person under M5 that was his source, and they leaked the story just as it was happening. What happened is real, not bogus. M5 in October of 2000 arrested a Russian. First name is Dmitri. I've heard of his name. He is known around the world as one of the scum of the earth. Dmitri was a consummate salesman who would come to the United States during the 2-year period that he really was heavily involved as the marketer and the front man for this group of Russian individuals, part of the Russian mafia. He was so well known for having real violent, disgustingly violent child pornography. Well, M5 had been following him for quite some time and was well aware of what he was bringing into the UK. I'd like to read you an actual...
I'm just stop right there for 1 second to address the chat. How everybody doing? How you doing, Miss Red, Miss Lion? How you doing, Nina Gray, Dale Caesar, Pretty Apple, Mama Justice, for Black Righteous Folks Homes? How y'all doing? This live right here is just the we're gonna go into the snuff film thing. How they taking kids from all around the world, filming them in these snuff films, and then killing them at the end of the snuff film. This story right here is crazy, y'all. Let's check it out. Let's get some knowledge on what these people doing.
Transcript that Jason Burke put in his article. Transcript is from an M5 wiretap on Dmitri. On or about October of 2000 or September of 2000, just prior to his arrest. He was talking to an Italian.
So bring everybody up to speed real quick. And we just still in the early part of the beginning of it. This guy right here is talking about how they caught this Russian guy that was traveling back and forth from Russia and all around the world and to the U.S. And he had people from the United States working with him. They caught these people. These guys were selling snuff films. They were filming with them having sex with minors, and then at the end of the film they would kill the kid, and how these sick people would place orders for these films. They would film sexual acts with minors, and then, like I said, they would kill him at the end. And then at one point y'all gonna hear him talk about how this one sick guy was ordering, these films. He wanted to see these films, and at one point the killings wasn't enough for him. He wasn't satisfied with I'm telling y'all, it's outrageous. What's good with it, King Yaya? How you doing, my brother? Scorpio Goddess, what's good with it? For everybody coming in, y'all, we just going over to see how crazy this world we live in, with these people that's targeting, our kids all over the world just to make snuff films and murder them at the end of the film. Here we go.
And gentlemen, and I'll just read it, and I'll give you a little background about it and set it up. Kuznetsov, that's Dmitri, had given up his job in 1998 to devote himself to the lucrative pornography industry. A self-taught computer expert, he was in the process of upgrading his equipment to allow him to email videos directly to clients when police raided him and arrested him. He indicated that some children that he hired, and all the films, by the way, were shot in Russia, that over the time period that he was involved before they arrested him, which was about a 2-year period, he hired in the neighborhood of...
And I want everybody to draw in and play. Let's give this video right here, if we may, if we will, our undivided attention, because this right here, this film can teach us a lot. We might be a little knowledgeable about it, but let's just tune in on this film, because I'm telling you, this stuff we need to know about.
Several hundred children, boys primarily, and they were paid a fee between 100 and 300 rubles to perform sexual acts in child pornography. But what the children didn't know is that it wasn't a game. It was a violent child pornography ring of Russians that actually mutilated children. Not special effects, but literally mutilated them.
So let me just pause right there for 1 second. You know, I'm gonna go right back into it. So here we got some deranged, crazy, psychotic people that's into this stuff. And some of us was already aware of this stuff was going on in the world we live in. And then, you know, around when we started investigating the Crown Plaza thing, that's when, you know, a lot of people it became new to a lot of people. But let's be real. If not with anything with ourselves, this stuff is going on. And then, like I said, I can't say it enough. It's sickening that they will actually target children for their own sexual fantasies, sick fantasies at that. But it's happening, and we got to know about it.
He took his product, a number, quite a few actually, to London in September of 2000. And to give you an idea of how sick people are, is that they would pay between £3,000 and £4,000 for one video. That's a lot of money for a video. Here is...
So some of us may be familiar with the differences between American currency and pounds or whatever, but even if you don't know how much pounds would equal out to for what we're seeing on the screen, you don't have to know. Listen to what he said. That's a lot of money. So we could just take that. We could take it right there. Okay, that's a lot of money. For what? For these 6 films that they making with children, to have sex with them and then turn around and murder them on film. Y'all just heard the guy say this stuff is being done, and no, there's no special effect. He said that to let you know that this stuff is for real.
Dmitri talking to one of his buyers in his London
Listen, y'all, listen right here.
Quote, this is from the Italian. Promise me you're not ripping me off. Dmitri, tell me the truth. Dmitri says, quote, relax, I can assure you that this one really dies. The Italian man responded, you know, the last time I paid you, I didn't get what I wanted. It was really crap. I don't care what it looked like. Dmitri says, quote, what do you want? And the Italian said, you know, I want to see the fucker die. Dmitri says, that's why I'm here. This is an M5.
Wow. Do I need to play that back, or did you all grasp? But I think y'all did. Here it is, the sick fucker. The best. That's one of the best description we can use, if not the only. So here it is. We got this sick-minded individual paying for a child pornography, a snuff film. And then he tell the guy, that's not good enough. The last film you gave me, it was crap. And he asked him, well, what you want to see? He told me, you know what I want to see? I want to see the kid die. So they go from one sickening act, having sex with a minor, then go to even monstrous act by murdering a child.
Wiretap, which is so disgusting that it's hard to believe.
Yeah, that's what I said. He looked like he have too,
so
but
well known
but he
for
telling it.
having real, violent, disgustingly violent child pornography. Not make-believe, but actually hurting, and in one instance, killing a child.
So let's stop right there for one quick second. Oh, what we're seeing right now, like we already understand, these are sick individuals. It's no different from when you see a grown guy and going at these young females. It's no difference. It's no difference. In some cases, what you have made the older guy might not kill the young girl. Okay, but still, what about the other act? What about the sexual act? It's no different. People are sick. And that's why I said it's always good for this stuff, for us to be educated on this stuff, because anything can happen right up under our nose, right in front of our face. And we may not notice it, but if we educate about it, we stand a chance. A lot of us didn't know about the stuff that we came in around September last year, that what we came in to learn. We didn't know nothing about it before that.
London court sentenced Dmitri to 11 years in prison. And I think that's all you have to say is child snuff film. If that isn't the most disgusting, non-human thing that you can imagine, death isn't even good enough for him. And I don't know anybody in the adult entertainment industry that would even want to be associated with such shit. So Dmitri rot in hell.
Okay, this right on the screen right here. I'm gonna pause it right here. So this is the guy, Dmitri. This was the guy that was behind making the film and the snuff film, killing the kids. This is him. This is him right here. He's a Russian. He's a Russian. And y'all, it's just so crazy. It's crazy. Like he just said, this guy just said he don't know anybody in the adult film will want to watch something sick like this. And we already know the adult film industry is crazy itself. But for this to be sickening to them, when what they doing is already sickening, what they tell us? Exactly what do it tell us? This the guy right here. Look, I gotta pause it right here, y'all. See this guy, the guy, he's sitting here holding a dead baby in his arms. And we can only imagine how the damn baby died. But they got a picture of this guy sitting here holding the cradle and just hugging a dead baby. After they probably, y'all just heard him say they mutilate the child. After they just have do all these sexual fantasies to babies, to little kids. And then at one point, I think the guy even said this guy was so bold, he was putting his face all on a video cassette covers, you know, and all this stuff. If they this bold to, it's like they doing it out in the open. A lot of them get away with it because y'all remember a few days ago when I brought up the Johnny Gosch story and I asked y'all to go do some research on it. Then the Johnny Gosch story, his father was an FBI agent and he was involved in his own son kidnapping just so he can get, just so he basically sold his son to some of these politicians that's running these sex rings with children. His own dad. If it wasn't for the mother, they probably wouldn't have got no answers. Imagine when she figured out that her husband was a part of it. So when they snatched their son up and he came up missing, she came to the point where she realized and found out the truth that her husband played a part of it. That's crazy. I mean, you tell me the world came to. Okay, you're right. 4 black righteous folks home. That's a good question. Why did he get out of jail? Notice what I just said. The people that they have working with them, they got the FBI, won't move. If the FBI won't move, that's a roadblock in it itself. Because if the FBI not gonna do nothing, what in the hell can the local police do? Absolutely nothing. So if the FBI is involved, what that tell you? That we got judges involved. We got police involved. We got politicians involved. This is what they do. They let, see the world, there it is. It get more sickening and sickening by the second. I'm talking about this world we live in. They let these guys out of prison after what they did because of prison overcrowding. And these guys got on the list to get out early. Y'all just heard Tori say the other day, prison is not about rehabilitation. No, it's not. You can get rehabilitated in prison if that's what you want to do, seriously. But don't think you can go anywhere in this world and get rehabilitated if that's not what you want to do. But some sick motherfuckers like this, they don't deserve no chance to be rehabilitated. They deserve to be erased. Jail is a luxury for people like this. How in the hell society gonna agree to leave some people like this alive after they not only do all these terrible things to children, and then they go do a monstrous act by murdering them? Come on. And then we leave these people alive, and then on top of that, release them back into society for what? To do the same thing again? Because if you willing to stoop that low and harm a child, then there's nothing you won't do. If you're a criminal and that's the type of crime that you decide to do, you need to be erased.
I think the writers in the United States say it's hocus pocus, bogus, because they really don't want to accept the possibility that it does exist because it's so abhorrent to a human and to human nature that they can't believe in their hearts.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Liz. Line a defenseless child at that. That's why they do it. That's one of the reasons outside of them being sick, mentally sick. So if they would pick somebody, they would pick a defenseless child who can't defend themselves. What they do, they go out and they kidnap these kids. That's why we see so many unsolved child kidnapping cases, so many child murdering cases. That a child gets snatched off the street, a couple days down the later, days down the line, they find him dead off in the woods somewhere. Y'all know how long this type of stuff been happening? When have y'all ever seen any politicians on this matter to go extremely hard dealing with an issue like this? Never. They talk a good game. But you have never seen no law enforcement in this country, nor any politician on any level, act strongly and for real about this. They too busy targeting us. They too busy trying to figure out how to dumb us down more and more, how to keep us stupid, how to keep us down, they working hard to make us think it's all good when we learning and waking up more and more every day and learning that it's not.
That such a thing could be real. Unfortunately, it exists, and it would be nice if somebody, some source, would let Americans know shit like this is around the world.
This man says he has seen 5 tapes where children have not only been sexually abused, they've also been tortured and then killed in front of the camera.
So 5 different men killed children on these tapes.
Yes, 5 different.
And allowed themselves to be videotaped doing so.
Yes.
That really does strain the bounds of credibility, doesn't it?
But the people who wanted these tapes to be made were people who wanted
To let you know the type of people they are, look at what's going on now. Look at what's going on now. They snatching the kids from the boy. Okay, let's think logical for 1 second. Right here. So, okay, you got people coming across the border illegally. All right. They with their families, they with their kids. What's the reason for separating the kid from their family? I understand all that stuff. They breaking the law. They coming across the border illegally. I understand all of that. So if you're gonna handle them, what's the reason for separating them from their parents? Little bitty babies. What's the reason? Man, ain't nothing they can tell us that'll be legitimately sound right to us. Ain't nothing they can tell us to clean that up. What can they say? Oh, we want to throw the parent in jail. What about the kid? Parent responsible for coming over the border with. What about the kid? What the kid do?
to kill children. They wanted the memory of it. They wanted to see it in person. They wanted to do it. And they wanted something to remember it by.
In the late 1980s, when he was 22, Edward moved from Birmingham to Amsterdam to take advantage of its more liberal attitudes towards homosexuality. Edward insists he is not a paedophile, but burdened by the horrors he has witnessed, he's decided to speak out publicly for the first time about the hidden world of perversion and murder he discovered.
The other thing.
What I mean, we gotta keep it real, even if it's with ourselves. What possibly pedophile is gonna come out and admit that he's doing this type of stuff? You got murderers, you got murderers that'll come out and admit to their crime before these people will. That only shows you how sickening it is, how devilish it is. How foolish, stupid. We living in a damn world where we gotta watch our kids. Y'all just the other day we were talking, had the brothers up on the panel. Used to be a time where you could send your kid out to play, and the whole community is together. Everybody watching it, keeping an eye on everybody kid. No, not today. Not today, because you can't even trust your damn neighbor in some cases. You can't even trust the some of the teachers we sending our kids off to school to. These people we supposed to trust. We can't even y'all already know we can't trust the law enforcement in large cases. We can't trust them. So stuff like this going on, it only ruins trust that we supposed to have for these people. Well, according to them. They do all this stuff and still to look us dead in our face and get up on that TV. Nowadays, get up on the internet and lie dead to our face. We just went over the Pizzagate thing the other day. How they going into the pizza restaurant, and when they order on the menu, they actually talking about the type of kid that they want to have sex with. It's sickening. It's beyond sickening.
That many people might think, because this is so difficult to comprehend, if you simply fantasize this, that this is the product of your imagination.
It's a very warped imagination for somebody to dream something like this up.
People sometimes have warped imagination.
Not when you consider the people that I'm actually describing.
Edward met British paedophiles of every description in Amsterdam. The most alarming figure was Warwick Spinks, who's currently coming to the end of a 5-year jail sentence in England for the rape and abduction of a 14-year-old boy.
Warwick Spinks was a very, very plausible individual, a man who gave off an impression of being wealthy. He actually was able to speak many languages. Being travelling extensively, he was able to meet people, talk about his meetings with people. Some say he had a magnetic character. He was very loud, brash, is another description, but underneath is very dangerous.
Edward is a former friend of Warwick Spinks. Edward says he's finally decided to tell his story because he cannot forget one apparently simple incident in the centre of Amsterdam when he met Spinks and a young boy.
He turned up one day with a boy gripped very tightly by the arm, and the boy was only about 7 or 8. Typical Dutch-looking boy, blonde hair.
There it is again. See, it used to be a time when the men in the community would look after the little boys. Now we living at a time where the men are kidnap the little boys, rape the little boys, and kill them. Back to the Johnny Gosch story, they kidnapped the little boy, raped him. The mother look up on TV and see her son that's been missing inside the White House on national television. What can we do? How can we ignore this type of stuff? It's going on, y'all. And it's been going on for a long time.
With blue eyes. And the boy looked absolutely terrified.
What did Warwick say to you?
He glanced down at the boy and said, I've got a delivery, I'm going to be another half an hour. I don't know what happened to the boy. I never saw the boy again, and decided not to ask Warwick what he actually meant by making a delivery.
He was very adept at identifying vulnerable children. He would visit railway stations, streets in London, and having identified a child, he would then convince the child that it was in his interests to know him. He would also eventually...
Let me tell y'all something real quick. Not to get off topic, it's kind of on the same topic, but it just aligned with trickery. The way people play tricks. Okay, now. And not keep bringing up prison or anything, but I got to use this for a perfect example. Okay, you go to prison and then you see these guys that's in prison, they engaging in homosexual activity and all this stuff with other men. But then they come out to society and then they get back in these relationships with women. The women don't have no clue how some of these guys been living off in jail. But then they do all this stuff, then they come out and lay with a woman. So to me, that explains some of the behavior we seeing from a lot of men today. It only makes sense. To me, it only makes sense why some of these men act the way they do. It's at a point in time where some of the behavior that we're witnessing from different men, they're not even ashamed to act that way. That's crazy. Not even ashamed of it. Hold on, I take that back. That's not crazy. That's dangerous. Men like that is a danger to every community. I don't care where you at. They're a danger to every community. Why do you think they passed them laws if you got that type of stuff in your background? You cannot go near a school. You cannot be around kids, and you shouldn't be allowed to be around them. Because your sick thinking is what done this. Sick thinking.
Actually abusive. But on that basis, it was always out at the back of his mind, I suspect, that there was an opportunity to take the child to Amsterdam.
When Edward met Spinks, the friendly Londoner was working as a barman and pimp in a brothel called the Gay Place.
Upstairs was a gay brothel for prostitutes, male prostitutes. Warwick's job there was basically to pimp for the prostitutes upstairs, and also, of course, to encourage other prostitutes to join.
In Holland, prostitution, gay or straight, is tolerated and open. Boys under the age of 16 are not allowed to work in brothels, but paedophiles who want to have sex with much younger children can find what they want in Amsterdam. Men like Warwick Spinks need a steady supply of vulnerable young boys. Many of the youngsters who end up trapped in Amsterdam start their journey on the streets of London. Men like Warwick Spinks are expert at targeting and exploiting vulnerable young people they meet on the street.
He would go to London or Munich or Berlin, so he was able to approach the boys and offer them something that they needed at the time, whether that was just a roof over their head, or security, or money, or drugs, or just 2 meals a day.
Vulnerable children. That's what they target in some cases. But we know in other cases, they don't know if the kid vulnerable or nothing. They don't have no knowledge of the kid. They just snatch him clean off the street or her clean off the street. Do it make sense to y'all that we know that this stuff is happening at a high rate? But is the cases being solved at a high rate? Absolutely not. So what that tell us? That tell us that they're doing very little to stop this stuff. They're doing very little to stop it.
In November 1992, 17-year-old Kenny was homeless, penniless, and drifting into drugs. He was the perfect...
Let me just pause real quick. Okay, now everybody, you all know I live in Chicago. Listen, it has gotten so bad. I'm talking about with this crazy stuff. Now you see so many young guys out on the street living this life. I'm talking about, it used to be a time when we look at the young guys in the community and we not only groom them and raise them and teach them to come, because let's just be real, deal with reality. They are the ones that are going to come and take over after us. But what's happening? The family is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker until what? what's gonna happen eventually? Y'all already know. It's not gonna even exist no more.
Target for Warwick Spinks.
I didn't have much friends at the time, and he seemed okay. He seemed genuine. I didn't know that Warwick was gay until the following night, when we was in the pubs and the clubs, and until I saw Warwick, the way he worked, the way he was getting on with people.
Spinks persuaded 17-year-old Kenny to travel with him to a private gay club in Amsterdam.
He then got a book out showing young boys. He passed it to me. I felt terrified. I didn't know what the next question was going to be. When he showed me the book, he was enjoying it. It wasn't just about money. I mean, he got kicks from it. He loved it. It showed, I would say, about 15 to 20 photographs of young boys between 9 and 13, as completely naked, like showing their penis off.
Okay, let me pause right there. Okay, a lot of you all may recall just recently in Chicago where they had the string of girls missing that they found the girls dead, and you know, all this stuff. Do y'all know that the chief of police had the nerve to come on TV? Y'all know the coon I'm talking about. I think his name Eddie Green or something like that. He came on TV and had the nerve. This was during the time when they was that stuff was happening. They found them 4 women in Chicago. Do y'all know that dude had the nerve to come on TV and say the reason it's hard for them to get answers out the case because people on social media is messing the case up? Can y'all believe he came out and said that on TV? This is what he said. Blew my mind when he said that. So you mean to tell me a job that y'all train for and do every day and get paid for it, y'all can't do it because of the people on the internet? Y'all heard me right. That's what he said. He blamed the people on social media. Them was his exact words.
And everything on their body. Some of them wasn't smiling. Some of them looked like they were scared. Some of them looked plugged up. Some of them looked happy as they wanted to do what they were doing. But most of the photographs, I saw that they did not want to do it. And that's what gave me the bad vibe.
Did it say anything with any of the photographs?
Yeah, there was a photograph, and it says a virgin, and it's the only thing that actually said. It was the only photograph that actually said it.
And what age would that boy be?
I think he'd be about 10, 11, young child.
Kenny ended up owing Spinks hundreds of pounds. When he couldn't pay up, Spinks suggested an alternative method of clearing his debt.
It's the only way you can pay it off to young boys. And what he meant, and what I totally understood, is he wanted young male boys to go with him and make sexual films. I told him no. I told him that it's just out of the question. I'd pay him in installments if he likes it or not. Warwick started to get violent, not fighting violent, but sexually violent, pushing me around. He was laughing. He enjoyed it.
Kenny says Spinks raped him that night. Spinks also told the teenager why he wanted younger boys.
I says, what do you get out of it? And he says he likes them to bleed. He likes them to cry. He likes to see pain. He gets orgasms over the pain. And I mean, that's what he does. He just enjoys it. He says to me,
See, let me stop it again. Okay, now most of the time when they catch these people try to play the mentally challenged role. They fall off into that, say they got stuff going on in their head, and then in some cases we even know throughout history people get caught and get in the court system. Hey, how you doing, Mama Justice? They get in the court system and then they let them go. If they don't let them go immediately, they get very extremely short sentences. They get extremely short sentences. So even with the people that get caught and then they try to play the crazy role, we can't fall for that, because to let you know that they're not crazy, after they do it, most of them try to keep from getting caught. They go on the run. And to let you, another reason to let you know they're not crazy, they try to hide this stuff. That lets you know that they are fully aware that they're doing something wrong. If they weren't aware that they were, then why hide it? If you know in your heart you're not doing something wrong. But that's one of the reasons they hide it, because they know they're doing something wrong. That right there alone proves that they're not crazy. At least crazy is in the way that they want us to believe. We know they're crazy, sick, all of that, for even doing it.
He likes the boys to cry. He enjoys the boys to cry. He wants the boys to cry. And he goes out to make them cry. And I think that's his hit. That's his ambition. That's what he wants. Kenny refused to help Spinks find younger boys and managed to break away from the sinister world into which he had stumbled. Others weren't so lucky. Edward says that he didn't realise Spinks was both a paedophile and a pimp until it was too late.
People would approach him, being the sort of character he was, and say that they wanted to have sex with boys who were younger than were allowed in the brothels, or to have rough sex or extremely dangerous sex with underage children.
Edward claims that he only discovered the truth about the child prostitution ring run by Warwick Spinks after he'd broken away from the scene in Amsterdam.
Warwick came up with the idea of having boats just outside of Amsterdam where these clients could go. There would be a young boy on the boat and there would be the client on the boat, and then they would be able to do whatever they wanted to the boy.
This man, Edward, insists he has seen 5 videotapes where children have been sexually abused.
Lisa Lewis, we appreciate you saying what you just said. And that just shows you that this type of stuff happens on all levels. Lisa Lewis just said something extremely important to us, something she didn't have to say. But us being the type of family we are over here, we take that serious. We take that serious. We know people go through this stuff every day. Possibly people we see and communicate with, talk to, and all type of stuff every day. And we may not even have a clue that they even going through this. Give it up. Shout out to Lisa. Thanks for being strong, Queen. We appreciate it all. We love you for it.
Tortured and then killed in front of a camera.
The man was on board with the boy.
There you go, Pretty Apple. You absolutely right.
To do to the boy.
You're absolutely right. Pretty Apple just said you. In some cases, you can't heal what you can't reveal. So what that means? That means sometimes the healing process starts when you start talking about it. Sometimes it just takes just to talk to somebody. Just to, and look, man, let me just to the brothers real quick, and I'm gonna get right back to the video. Man, sometimes we have to just put our guard down and just be men. It's okay if you're having a bad day. You see a sister or your queen or whatever, and man, baby, I need a hug today. It's all right. We only human. Listen, Let me check now. This to the sisters. It's to you queens. If you meet a man and then he act like he don't care about nothing, he don't have a feeling about a damn thing, I'm finna tell y'all one of the biggest secrets that you should know. If you meet a man and he act like that, that means he's dead. What living person you know don't have emotions? What living person you know don't have feelings? I don't give a damn how hard he try to act. But if he ain't got none one of them, that means he's walking around dead.
Things got out of hand and the boy ended up dying, which was recorded on a video camera.
How did the boy die?
Yeah, he suffocated on the genitals of the man.
And what happened after the boy had apparently suffocated? On the tape, what did you see on the tape?
There was panic, that there was a lot of running in and out. The camera got hit from the side and blanked out. But the whole thing was, it was inevitable that this was actually going to happen. There was sound on the camera. You could hear the waves sucking.
And since talking to us, he has been interviewed by both the British and Dutch police and has offered to work with them to prove that what he says is true. The Dutch police have now launched a formal inquiry into Edward's allegations. The reason Edward has to be taken seriously is that he's pointed...
So let me just pause it again real quick, y'all. Just like when the other day when we was going through the Pizzagate thing, how we went over how it was a lot of these politicians, their emails got hacked and all this crazy nonsense that they were involved in had been exposed. But look at what's happening today. What happened to these people? Absolutely nothing. They still allowed to be fake politicians. They still being allowed to scam the people. They're keeping a job. So if all that's still being done, then what that tell us? This type of stuff that we're seeing right now, they still doing it. Why wouldn't they? There's no repercussions. They're not going to jail for it. Which I told y'all, people that's involved in this stuff, jail is a luxury to them. Send them straight to hell. That's the only sentence they should have. We know we're living in a country. We see it just about every day on the news. Don't let it be a famous person or a politician. They get in the court system. If they get probation or a fine, and if they get sentenced, most of them, in some cases, they get a pat on the hand, a pat on the wrist, and they right back out into society. Look at the college guy. I can't think of his name. A couple years ago, that they for the I can't think of this guy's name, but it was a big story. He had been years raping, having sex with these basketball players, and he was the college coach. So now they sent him to prison, and what he doing now? He trying to get out on some type of bogus technicality, saying that the kids didn't have no problem with it. Man, see what we go through, see what we have to deal with. These are the type of people that we have to deal with. It's not gonna get no better. It's not gonna get no better. The people have to stand up, because we already know the government not gonna do nothing. Law enforcement not gonna do a damn thing. So it's solely left up to the people to do what? Stand up.
A finger at a man with a track record of appalling sexual violence towards young boys. Warwick Spinks was placed under surveillance by Scotland Yard precisely because of information received that he was selling tapes of children being tortured and killed.
You're absolutely right, Miss Red. Straight to it.
When he did not know he was being secretly recorded by undercover police officers in Holland, Spinks boasted of his knowledge of snuff movies. An actor reads from the official police transcript.
I know somebody who was in a snuff movie, and somebody got snuffed in front of him. He was from Birmingham, middle 20s. I know the person who made the film. I felt sorry for this boy. He was a German boy, about 13, 15. He thought he was going to make 200 guilders, and ended up being dead. I know I'm a fat old queen, but I get away with murder. Rumours of the existence of what are known as snuff movies have been around for a very long time. Law enforcement officers have never ever found one of these. However, it's fair to say that in my experience we've witnessed video films of horrendous abuse of children, arriving at a point where they are tortured.
From prison, Spinks denies committing any crime.
I had 3 brothels in Amsterdam, but that is not in itself, does not make me a murderer. It does not make me an associate of murderers. It does not mean I'm in a pedophile ring, because I've never had anything to do with anything like that.
I think Walter Spinks is completely disgusting. He's put a lot of people through a lot of pain. He doesn't care about the consequences. He just...
Right. See what he just said? They don't care, especially the ones that's working. Back to the Johnny Goss story. The guys that snatched Johnny Goss off the street, they were working with the FBI. They wasn't FBI officers or agents, but they were being instructed by FBI agents to do this. And they had nothing to worry about. They didn't worry about getting caught. Look who they had working with them, the FBI. So what they worry about getting caught for? They got one of the highest law enforcement agencies in America backing them. That's why you don't see nothing happening.
Don't think about that. He just wants the boys, he just wants the money. If he doesn't get it, he'll go out and get it, and he will go out and get it.
Spinks is in prison because he sold one 14-year-old British boy into sexual slavery in this Amsterdam brothel. His victim Gary will never forget him.
If I ever seen it.
They so bold. Just look at the name of some of the clubs. We just saw about 5 minutes ago they had some club called Gay something, and then they look at this Blue Boy and Why Not. Look at Pizzagate. We can clearly see that they use Pizzagate because it most kids like pizza. These people go inside the pizza parlor, the restaurant, and you think they ordering a cheese and sausage pizza with pepperoni, but all the time those are code words for give me little Johnny that's 13 years old, or give me little Angela that's 8 years old. Sick people. But is it real? Hell yeah.
And what you're asking a little boy would be completely different altogether.
Yeah.
My life completely. He has those damaged me inside, which, you know what I mean? You can beat someone up, but you can't damage him emotionally like he has done to me and a lot of other people he's done it to.
Edward insists that not only was Spinks involved in the systematic abuse of children, he was also involved in their murder. At our request, Edward has helped the Dutch police find the house in the suburb of Amsterdam where he says he was shown videos of young boys being killed. And Edward has described to the police the lake where the men he met at the house told him they had disposed of the bodies.
So all right, now we know about Netflix. We know that it's only proven that this stuff is crazier and crazier and insane. Here it is. Everybody know about Netflix. Everybody know about Netflix investing into these type of films, snuff films. Maybe we need to put some pressure on Netflix because all they doing is promoting it. So if you got people out there that know that they can make money off this type of stuff, which is like what we're seeing, and then here come Netflix, giving them a bigger avenue to do it. Giving them a bigger reason to do it. Okay, I can have sex with these kids and then kill them and then make money by being shown on Netflix. Shit is crazy.
But if Spinks and the gang are arranging for the murder of children on this kind of scale, almost a production line, surely it would have come to the attention of the authorities. The boys that they chose would have been homeless and they would have been very vulnerable children. There was a boy with sallow skin and brown hair, brown eyes, which is unusual for Amsterdam. I have no idea where they got him from. There were two blonde-haired boys and a strawberry blonde boy, and a boy with a very distinctive haircut. It was shaved over both ears with a loop and a parting down the middle.
Yeah, that was about the end of it. Like, y'all already know how we rock over here. You know, I feel like this. Stuff that, you know, some people may be afraid to discuss, may be afraid to tackle, may be even afraid to even mention it. We ain't on that. We crossing that line. They've been crossed it. So in order to deal with these people, what we supposed to stay on the other side of the line? No, we got to cross that border and go to war. That's all. That's what's happening. We at war. We might not be in the same senseless wars that, you know, a few months ago, like what was taking place all over on YouTube. Those were games, but now this is a real war. This is a real war that we fighting for who? For our children. They can't do it. They can't do it. They don't have a clue of this stuff. Y'all just heard the guy say they look for vulnerable children, possibly runaways, people that just out there. And it don't even have to be a bad situation. You know, let me tell y'all something that happened to me when I was like maybe like 8 years old. Okay, I was sick one day and I stayed home from school and I had a pain. I don't know, I was a little kid, but for some reason my back was hurting, my upper back. So what I did, when my mother left out to go to work, I decided to walk to the corner to the gas station to buy me some candy or something. As I was coming out the gas station, there was an old white man sitting in there. I was a little kid, I don't remember the kind of car, but he was sitting right there. He noticed the way how I was walking slow. So as he was getting his car, he said, you need a ride home? You need a ride home? Now, I was a little kid at the time, but I was in so much pain. What I did, y'all, I got in this old white man car. This how I know that there's a God for real. There's nothing nobody can tell me. As I was sitting in that white man car, a voice inside my head said, DeMarco, get your ass up and get up out this car. That's exactly what I did. And I truly believe if I wouldn't have got up out that car, I wouldn't be here today. And all I wanted was a ride home. But it was something, a voice, and this never happened to me. I clearly heard the voice speaking in my head. Said, man, get up and get up out this car. And I didn't waste no time. That's exactly what I did. And I went home. But y'all see how just easy it is for anything can happen to a kid? They don't know. But you see a kid walking down the street, they concern is not watching now. Okay, we might teach our kids about this stuff. Don't speak to strangers and all this. But they too worried about being a kid. They're not even supposed to worry about this type of stuff, getting snatched up off the street. And they're not supposed to worry about that stuff. But the reality of it is that this is the world we live in. We have to teach our kids about all this stuff. Tell my daughters all the time, don't be traveling out in public with no goddamn headphones in your ear when you can't be aware of your surroundings. Don't do it. Man, I hope we all got, and listen, I please, I want each and every last one of y'all to do further research on this stuff because we all know it's happening. We all know it's happening. Do the research on this stuff, y'all. We're going to continue to grow. I'm finna get ready to punch up out of here. Somebody want to speak to the family real quick and say what's up to y'all?
What up, though, kings and queens? How y'all feeling today? This King Tori. Y'all done made it back home. hang out with my boy, do this live and in person. It's always a beautiful time to see y'all, hear from y'all.
Yep, that's King Tory speaking to the family. We want everybody to know it's peace and love. And he will be in on the next live. And we got some things we want to discuss with the family. They're saying hey to you in the chat. But man, it's a Friday night. It's a Friday night. Y'all already know. This used to be a time when we say, hey, it's Friday, let's party with no worries. But no, not today. Queens, y'all keep that security tight. Don't even trust none. Not even if I don't give a damn what he say. I don't give a damn what he driving. I don't give a damn what he have. How he look. Slice his ass. Slice his ass. One love, I'm out.